Happy New Year's, folks. Welcome to my New Year's Day ride. It's another horrible day in Georgia. Just a miserable winter day. It's about 60 degrees, blue skies, sunshiny. Just horrible. This is a 360-degree video, and I know some of y'all don't like those, but if you're on a computer, there's a little round ball up in the upper left-hand corner. Click on it. You can use your arrow keys to move around. If you're on a phone, I'm sorry, they really mess you up on the phone. They make you have to pick a resolution, and then you have to turn your phone around to see where the video's going, so sorry. We're just going to do a short ride through my town. This is my neighborhood. We're just kind of cruising through the street here, just heading out on a beautiful day. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Is anything interesting? I'll talk. If not, I'll shut up. Oh, any strange noises you hear in the background are my dog enjoying her rawhide bone. This right here is Forest Hill Drive. And believe it or not, over there on the left is the church that Teresa and I belong to in town. Believe made a light. Wow. Now this section right here, this is what this road was named for, Forest Hill, but you'll notice there's not much forest. When it was a 2-lane road, there was a nice canopy over the road. It was really cool looking, and then they did this to it. They wanted to make this 4 lanes originally. Our mayor at the time stopped them. But yeah, this is now kind of deforested hill road. So. We got the left turn lane. Oh well, it's better than nothing, I guess. But I still would prefer the trees. I really hope you can't hear the dog chewing on the rawhide. That was Wimbish Road. And this is the only unimproved section of the old Forest Hill Road. And they just repaved this, so now you can actually drive the speed limit. That guy didn't pull out. Oh, he didn't? That was nice of him. Yeah, I saw that. But I made this one. Now, most of y'all have probably heard of the Allman Brothers Band, because this is Macon, Georgia. You've heard them sing, about Highway 41. Well, this is US 41 through Macon, Georgia, right here. Little useless fact. That's the dog really enjoying the ride, though. Just waited that out. This nice 3-lane road, this is US 41. At one time, those 3 lanes were 4 lanes when I first got my driver's license. Yeah, it was a wee bit tight. Now, you take this road to the left here, there used to be a little strange thing just over the railroad tracks over there. There's a thing called Payne City. It was a city fully enclosed by the city of Macon. It has since been incorporated into Macon, but had its own government, police department, and man, that was a speed trap in that road. It's horrible. There's also one more little oddity about the land on the other side of the railroad tracks to the right that you can't really see. But just up here at this traffic light, off to the right, there's a little historical sign. It's in a bad place. But it turns out that the only land ever owned by the Confederate States of America was on the other side of that railroad tracks. It was their munitions laboratory. There was a big court case about it because they wanted to seize the land and they didn't know who to seize it from. And make a long story short, the court said the Confederate States of America were a legal entity and this property could be taken. And that's probably the last time they ever tried that one. But that's where it was. And now it's one of the biggest toxic waste dumps in Macon because they coated telephone poles with creosote and DDT there for about 20 years. Oh well, can't win them all. To the right, to the left, that's the Georgia School for the Blind. Here's a family fun fact for me. Right here at this intersection, matter of fact, right here, I had my first car accident 2 days after I got my driver's license. I think I still hold the family record. Oh, now, you're going to probably have to use the, look to the left for this one. Coming up here on the left is the big house. It was Barry Oakley's house during the Allman Brothers days. And a bunch of the guys used to live there, and they still do events there occasionally. I think the last act I saw there was J-Mo and his band, with a bunch of the youngins, former Allman Brothers band's kids, who showed up and played. But there it is. It's a pretty neat old house. It's worth the stop if you're in the Allman Brothers. Right now we're coming up on I-75. These two bridges over the interstate are named for Dwayne Allman and Barry Oakley of the Allman Brothers Band. interested in opening a TV station in Macon, Georgia, over here on the left, here's one for sale. It's got studios, all sorts of neat stuff in there. Oh well. We're heading to downtown Macon, Georgia. This is New Year's Day, so it's going to be kind of deserted. There's not a lot going on today. It's kind of early. Most folks are probably asleep. Coming up on the left, you're going to see a sign on a building that's got a mushroom on it. That is a famous H&H restaurant where Mama Louise used to feed the Allman Brothers back when they had no money and they needed something to eat. She always had a place of honor at their concerts. It's just past this church. If you're ever in Macon, it's worth eating. Mama Louise, we lost her this year. And so it's run by a different group of people, but they're trying to stay honest to the menu. There it is right there on the left. Yep. Yes, I've had a few meals there. Oh, there's you did see 3 churches on the same block. That's not unusual. This is Macon, Georgia. Those 2 big spires over to the left, they belong to the Catholic Church. The church on top of the hill is the First Baptist Church, which oddly enough, so is the one down lower that we just passed, but that's a long story. Over to the right's our City Hall. If it looks like a bank, that's because in the 19th century it was a bank. That castle-looking building used to be our National Guard headquarters. We're talking like back in the Civil War days up till, I guess, in the 50s. Now it's an event hall. It's got a bunch of, if you're into this sort of thing, a bunch of Confederate imagery inside of it and that sort of thing. Up here to the right, this was a business block that got burned by some yo-yos. But because of it, if you look to the right, you'll see a sign that says that's going to be the Otis Redding Fine Arts Center. And his daughter Carla and son Dexter, and we lost Otis's son, Otis III, this year, but they worked their butts off trying to get that together. Looks like it's going to finally happen. This is Cherry Street, so if you come to Macon and you're a tourist, you will end up down here. This is where most of the restaurants are downtown, or on the alleys on either side of this, and the bars and the music places are all right about here. As oddly enough, there's this hotel-looking building on the right, which is actually an old folks' home, and I'm going to spare you the music that was playing for the entire time I was sitting there. That was just, those old people didn't want to hear that stuff. I didn't either, to tell you the truth. And I'm pretty tolerant. It's actually an old building and it had to come down. They're actually putting a parking garage there because there's very little parking as we drive past the parking garage. There's very little parking down there at night. So the people who come down to party have nowhere to park. This is Broadway, also known as Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in Macon. Now we're going to head back up Poplar Street. Which at one time this whole street was lined with flags, and we had the nickname Flag City, but we had a mayor who didn't like that, so he ripped them all out. So we aren't Flag City anymore. I'm not sure what we are. And you can see where the events were last night. They got off very big area fenced off. Why the light's flashing red? No idea. You come up here at night, you're not going to find a parking space. Didn't used to be that way. It's kind of refreshing. Believe that that's not graffiti. That's actually a business site. Over to the left is Grant's Lounge, where pretty much everybody who's ever played here has played. And now we're coming up Poplar Street on the right. On the left over here, you'll right, which is the Macon Auditorium, which has really good acoustics, and that was a place folks wanted to play. And there's two First Baptist churches flanking the Catholic Church, which I always thought was kind of strange. And since we have all these churches down here, so I'll just show you one more little thing here. See a side view of the auditorium over on the right. We're going to go left. And amongst all these churches, of course that's where one of the local synagogues are. This is one that some neo-Nazis came to a few months ago, and they got taught a valuable lesson when they came back. We don't tolerate that here. This would be College Street. No, it isn't. This is still Washington Avenue. We're heading towards College Street. It was called College Street because of this intersection over to the right, where that's the post office now, that's where Wesleyan College used to sit. And when we go left, we'll be heading towards Mercer University. Now, Wesleyan College, which kind of looked like the building that's there now, had actually moved out to way out down 41, US 41, and they were tearing the old building down, and it mysteriously caught fire, and because of the way it was made, the stuff it was made with, it started throwing huge chunks of fire into the air and took out 2 or 3 of the houses around it. Wasn't pretty. The white building on the right back of the intersection, at the left back of the intersection, is the Washington Library. It was actually a Carnegie Library. Traffic circle right here, they had to put these bushes and stuff in the center of it because people repeatedly just kept driving right through the middle of it. notice here, that is Mercer University. A lot of folks think, wait, that's in Atlanta. No, this is the main campus for Mercer right here on the left. This little area right here is fairly new. It was built to help support the university campus to the left of us there where the dorms are, and once you cross this bridge, you're in a little bit of a different world. Yeah, that's the way I put it. That's I-75 again. Up here past this, what's been a closed gas station for over 20 years. I never had the pleasure to go to that school, but my brothers got to go there for junior high school. And at one time, that was the girls' high school, public high school. Yep, you heard that right. They were segregated not only by race, but by sex down here. This road right here is called Pio-No-No. That is how it's pronounced here in Macon, Georgia. It's named after Pius IX. It's also US 41, oddly enough. And if we go up it far enough, it changes names to Pierce Avenue, which is the name of a Methodist bishop. I'm sure there was some politics involved. The Methodist Children's Home is down there, and it changes right where there's a Baptist church. So I honestly don't know what's going on. Happened before I got here. And yes, there is a lot of churches in Macon, Georgia. This is Napier Avenue. It is named after a guy who actually helped finance the Confederacy and basically broke himself doing it because he never got paid back. I don't feel sorry for him. Oops, I got political. Now, I'm not going to point out exactly where for reasons of my own, but right now you're on the last stretch of road Dwayne Allman ever rode on. A buddy of mine used to have a bike shop right up here on the right. It's convenience stores and garbage like that now. Right there. And at this point, I'm just trying to figure out what this guy ahead of me is doing. He is going backwards and forwards and doing all sorts of weird stuff, and I just want to get away from it. Building on the right, it's an old school. I believe that's an old folks' place now. Like I'm not old. Now, this yellow building right here, it's a hair salon. For over 20 years, that was a dog hair salon. I wonder if the folks who go there are aware of that. Now we're turning onto Park Street. Getting ready to cross over some railroad tracks, the Central Georgia tracks. Before they replaced this bridge, the bridge over here was so rickety you literally could go down towards the bottom and shake the timbers and make the whole bridge shake. Kind of glad they replaced it. US 41 sign again. We're crossing over it and going back onto Forest Hill, and we're heading back to my house. right up here on the left, there's an Episcopal church. On the other side, there at one time was a Episcopal monastery back there, a monastery of some sort back there. And there's still a grotto back there that has some artifacts one of the monks left. Believe it or not, it's not been vandalized. There hasn't been a monastery there for the whole 40 years I lived in Macon, Georgia. Probably longer than that. This is kind of how this whole road used to look like. When it was green, when it's green, it's really pretty. And then they took all the trees out. Now we're heading back down the hill and heading back to my house. So folks, I hope y'all have a good new year if you stuck through this thing, and hope my voice didn't scare you too bad. It's the first time I've ever tried this, and I figured I'd give it a shot and see what happens. If y'all like it, let me know. If you think it's probably the worst thing I've ever done, let me know. Talk to y'all later. Happy New Year.